Colts fans, if you're celebrating Victory Monday, hit that like and subscribe button right now, as we all are, because we just defeated the Tennessee Titans at home. That was a doozy. It ended up being a close one, and we're here to talk about it. Episode 14 of Colts Unplugged Pod. I'm one of your co-hosts, Ati Logan. Joined by me is our other co-host, Pro Fan Logan. We're here to talk about playoffs percentages, which went up a little bit. We'll talk about that. We're here to talk about playoffs, right?
Playoffs.
Colts and playoffs. Insert that fucking meme that we love,
Yeah.
the Colts playoff memes.
Playoffs.
Playoffs. And then we'll debrief a little bit about the Colts and Titans. Obviously, we do that every single Monday with the opponent that we previously played the day before. Obviously, it was the 3-10, now 3-11 Titans. So stuff to talk about. But Logan, we'll kick it off. I know you wanted to talk about playoffs. Let's start that. That's a juicy topic.
Yeah, real quick before playoffs, I just want to say, 3-12 actually, which
Oh, yes.
I want to make sure it's 3-12 because
Yeah.
all my homies, myself included, we hate the Titans. So
Oh, yeah. Tighten
they
down,
can just
baby.
keep on losing, baby.
Tighten
Tighten down.
No, tighten down.
So,
Tighten down. Fuck, I
no,
always
don't.
forget.
No.
Tighten down. Tighten down. Don't clip it. Tighten down.
All right, everybody. We got to clip Addy. Not
No.
But yeah, let's dive into playoff talk just because at the end of the day, obviously that's what everyone wants to know, right? Like, is there still a chance? What is the percentage chance? Things of that nature. So I present to you, Addy. There are only now 3 scenarios where the Colts can still be a playoff team this season. Number one, or before even getting into the first scenario, okay? The Colts, again, as we all know, have to win out. They have to beat the New York Giants in New York on Sunday, and then they have to come home to finish out the season and beat the dastardly Jacksonville Jaguars inside Lucas Oil Stadium, thankfully. So that's good. But they have to do that. For any of these scenarios to work, for them to get in the playoffs, they need to win both games, starting with that. So number one, here's scenario 1. The Chargers have to lose at the Patriots and at the Raiders. Okay. We'll get into how likely, how unlikely it is, but that's number 1 scenario, right? So Colts win out, Chargers lose out. Pretty simple. Colts are in. Number 2, here's where it gets a little bit crazier. So the Broncos need to lose at the Bengals and then lose again against the Chiefs at home to end their season. Now, here's the thing. The Chiefs very well could be resting their starters at that point because they might have the number 1 seed locked up, which
Logan,
would not be good for the Colts.
Are we going to rely on Carson Wentz to
Carson
get us to the playoffs?
Carson Wentz may knock the Colts out of the playoffs yet again. If he's still biting us in the ass. But then with that number 2 scenario, okay, we still have more. The Dolphins also need to win at the Browns and at the Jets. So they have back-to-back road games. They got to win both those. And there might be a cold game in there for Tua. So that could get dicey.
That's true.
Number 3, okay? In my opinion, I think this is the most likely scenario, but I'll get your take too. Number 3 scenario, it's the same thing as the beginning of the second, okay? The Broncos, again, need to lose at the Bengals and then lose against the Chiefs at home. And then, of course, the Bengals would need to win their final 2 games. So they need to beat the Broncos at home. And then they need to go on the road to finish the year and beat the Steelers, okay?
Okay.
Now, want to know what you think. Personally, just looking at it, of the 3, I personally feel like number 3 has a slight more percentage of a chance of happening.
Yeah.
I think number 1 seems kind of unlikely. That Chargers team's a really good team. They just came off a great comeback win against the Broncos. I don't see them losing back-to-back games against bottom feeder teams in the NFL. I could see them dropping one of them because it's the NFL, right? Anything can happen, but I don't see them losing 2 straight. On the second one, I don't want to rely on Tua in 2 potential cold weather games. It's at the Browns, at the Jets. What are your thoughts there? What do you
Yeah,
think
I
of the
think
3 scenarios?
so. I agree with you. I don't think we can count on the Chargers. If the Broncos actually held on, I was seeing the Nutcracker, so I missed like the first 3 quarters of that game
Yeah,
against the
yeah, yeah.
Chargers. If the Broncos held on, man, like I would say this might be the most likely because Chargers, yeah, they play the Patriots, but they're bottom feeder teams that don't have anything to play for. They're just going to come out and ball out for whatever reason. And then one of those games is a divisional opponent against the Raiders, and Antonio Pierce just comes out every single week, and it's like I don't give a fuck. I'm going to try to win.
Right.
So if the Broncos if the Chargers lost to the Broncos, I'd be like, okay, that would make sense. But because they didn't, I don't think this Chargers team is going to Charger anymore. Like with Brandon Staley, I think they have a good head coach and good,
Yeah,
good shoulder on
the
their head,
leadership
on the
is
shoulders.
too good at this point to pull a Brandon Staley.
Exactly, but we've seen
Yeah.
things happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. We've
Right,
seen
right.
things happen. So I'm gonna knock that one out of the picture. I'm debating because you kind of kill two birds with one stone. If the Bengals beat the Broncos this weekend, you're like, okay, the Broncos lost one and the Bengals won one, and it was against the same opponent. So that's gonna be really exciting. The problem is though, the Steelers are still gonna be fighting, I think, for either the 2 or the 3 seed.
I
Depending upon
know.
if
Yeah.
yeah, it depends upon how the Bills perform and if Kansas City drops this weekend. We're huge Steelers fans, Colts fans this weekend against the Chiefs because if the Steelers beat the Chiefs, the Steelers actually, or sorry, the Chiefs actually have a reason to play
To
their
play in
starters
mhm,
weeks
yeah.
18, right, against the Broncos because they're all going to be fighting for that 1 seed. And so we're huge Steelers fans. But I didn't even think about the whole cold part of the equation. Like he's going to be playing, like Tua's going to be playing at New York and at Cleveland back to back weeks.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, but I think that would I feel like they're inferior opponents compared to what
Yeah.
the Bengals have to face, but the Bengals can do a 2 for 1 by knocking out the Broncos up this upcoming Saturday and, winning their game. You know what I'm
I
saying?
feel like on that point though, I agree with you. I think in general, right, the Jets and um, the Browns are obviously inferior opponents to the Dolphins right now, but the Jets are playing much better football. I will say that. Like the
Yeah.
Jets are playing much better football than they were even 4 or 5
It's
weeks
like
ago, right?
Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams turned into, like, prime Packers, like, when
I
the
know.
season didn't matter anymore. They're
Yeah, it
just
didn't
like,
matter
"Fuck it,
anymore, and they're having a
Packers
last dance
highlights."
moment here. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that I don't know, man.
I
I
I
personally don't have enough faith in Tua. His record is abysmal in cold weather
Yeah,
games,
that's
and
true.
those are 2 tough atmospheres, man. Like at Cleveland, the dog pound. They're always still riding for their team regardless of what their record is, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be cold, it's gonna be rowdy, and then in Jet Life Stadium, as Aaron Rodgers calls it, with, again, Rodgers and Devontae Adams having the offense look a lot better, and that defense has shown at times this year, at times, they've shown that they're capable of shutting down opposing passing attacks, so, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like that scenario either, just because as soon as I saw it was at the Browns and at the Jets, I
Yeah.
was like, if one of those games was in Miami, oh, 100%. I'm like, yeah, or even both would be great, right? Because the Jets are great, or the Dolphins rather are amazing at home,
Yeah.
but
You know
I
what I'm
don't
wishing
trust it
for
this late.
Christmas, Logan?
What's
You
that?
know what I'm asking Santa? I'm asking Santa for a Steelers win on Wednesday, and
Uh
I'm
huh.
asking Santa for a Bengals win on Saturday. Because if the Broncos win on Saturday, none of this even matters because the Colts are officially eliminated from the playoffs on
Not
Saturday.
quite. The Chargers still if the Chargers still lose
Oh,
out
yes,
and
you're
the
true.
Colts win
That's
out,
true.
yeah, that's still a
Oh my god,
technical
I didn't even think
scenario.
about it,
Yeah.
but it's, like,
Yeah.
so slim in my opinion where it's, like, I just feel like it doesn't even matter at that
Yeah.
point, you know? It's like the Patriots had a chance to beat the Bills this weekend, and then they just 24 straight on their head,
Yeah.
like, immediately.
Anything can happen, but yes, I definitely think we're in agreement. The number one scenario that I mentioned with the Chargers, I think that one's probably the least likely, just because of back to back bottom feeders. Like there's
Yeah.
just no other way around it. I mean, I can see the Chargers dropping one of them, like I said, because the NFL is just the NFL. Like sometimes
Yeah.
it's any given Sunday, but back to back is hard for me to believe with how that team is coached this year, having a top 5 quarterback like Justin Herbert, the defense playing excellent football at times, and still being a top 10 defense in the league. So it's it's hard for me to see, for them dropping
I
back to back against those 2 teams.
Yeah. I'm just happy that it's like, what is it going on? Week 17? Um, week 17 and 18 coming up. I'm just happy we're still in, like, the hunt because I feel bad for
Yeah,
teams like the Giants and the Jets that are just, like their fans are just watching just to see, like, draft picks and see their young guys ball out, which is fun, don't get me wrong, like, that's nice and all, but, like, at least having a slim chance makes the games a little bit more exciting to watch. Granted, I'll watch
yeah,
Anthony Richardson regardless of if we make the playoffs or not, just to see him grow and see our young studs ball out, but it's just I'm just happy that we have a chance. It might
yeah.
not be a large chance. Talk about the
So
chance
you're
again?
telling me there's a chance?
Yeah, you're telling me there's a chance. I think, Logan, you have this actual stats pulled up in regards to, like, the percentages. Could you go through that
Yeah,
so the listeners can
I
hear
think
that?
the last that I saw, it was 15, but again, the numbers all vary depending on the site that you use.
Right.
I think the site that I saw from the New York Times, they had it at a
Wow.
15% chance for the Colts.
Analytics are
Um,
variable? There's not a
yeah,
s wow. What? That's crazy.
anywhere from 12, I think it was like 12 to 15 is where I saw
Which is a
the
jump, right?
varying.
From
Yeah,
where they
because
were.
it was like 1. It was literally a
It's very
1%
low.
chance coming into, to this week, so,
Yeah.
uh, and then the Bengals actually jumped from 1% to 6%. So,
Damn.
hey, Bengals fans, there's some hope for you guys.
Dude, imagine if JT didn't drop the ball.
I know,
8 and 7.
I know.
Over
Dude,
50% chance.
here's the thing too, Addy, is basically what it comes down to, right? If the Chargers don't lose out, which we don't think they're going to, it basically, at the end of the day, you're looking at a three-way what you want to happen as a Colts fan, you want a 3/4-way
It'd
tie,
be
really.
four-way tie.
It'd be a
Yeah.
four-way tie for the 7th seed, and that's really the only way, um,
And we'd have
they get
the
in at that point,
advantage
yeah,
because of the AFC wins, the conference
because
wins,
of the
I believe.
conference wins, yeah, exactly. So
Even
for
though we lost
people.
head to head to the
Mhm.
Broncos.
And that's what I was gonna say. That was one thing that confused me, and I know it might have confused some other Colts listeners. So, on that point, guys, the reason why the Colts at that point would still get in over the Broncos is because they would look at conference record first, and then it goes to head to head. So
Right. Which
that's
is interesting.
that's why it would actually go to the Colts. Just kind of dumb luck, really, at that point.
Well, hey,
That they just
beating
happen to have a better conference record. So
the
yeah.
Steelers helped, beating the Dolphins
Yep.
helped, obviously, in regards
Yep.
to conference
Yep.
play. So there were some wins we'd like to have back. Like, hopefully, we
Yes.
could have been the
Like,
Broncos. I
I don't
wish
know, the
Packers.
Jaguars in Jacksonville would have been
Yes.
nice.
The
Jeez.
Packers with
Yeah.
Malik Willis would have been
Ugh.
nice. I'm sure we'll go through this all in, like, our end of year, like,
Yeah, end of
recap,
year
like
recap, yeah.
I would like
That'll
to
be
go through
nice.
kinda like what could have been, basically. Like,
Mhm.
what could our record have been if we didn't make boneheaded, mistakes or the defense didn't show up or the offense didn't show up, something
So,
like that.
I wanted to transition because you said the word, and I was kinda thinking that word actually, boneheaded. So, obviously, at the end of the day, everything's fine and dandy. Colts won 38-30, still alive for playoffs, beat our division rivals, right? All is great, right? But I do think the ending of that game had a lot of people feeling like there were some boneheaded things happening
Yeah,
in the Colts locker room and on the field again. So, what were your thoughts? Okay, so first start off, like, Colts are up 38-7, third quarter, right? Jonathan
yeah,
Taylor's having a legacy game, like
yeah.
career game here. What were your thoughts at 38-7? And then what were your thoughts about midway through the fourth quarter when you're like, "Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh god, like there's an actual chance that the Titans come back here. Like what's going on?"
Yeah, I was just laughing, like,
Yeah.
parentheses, "in pain," but, like, I was just laughing. I was texting you that, and my buddy was at the game, and he was there for his wedding gift that his now wife got him, and,
Oh,
I
nice.
was just yeah, I was just laughing. I was like, "This is fucking hilarious." Like, this is definitely we're losing this game. Like, this is definitely gonna happen. I understand, I'm not too pissed off about, like, taking out JT. I get it, like, keep him healthy. He's had, like, ankle issues, and we had a big enough lead. I'm more pissed about going into like a prevent defense in like the middle of the third quarter. Like just keep playing what you're playing. It was working. It's like still bring pressure. Like it's like those conversations around, hey, in Hail Mary situations, do you rush 3 or do you rush 4 still? And
Yeah.
I'm still a guy that's like you drop 7 back and you rush 4 because you just
4,
want to
yeah. Mhm.
give the quarterback more pressure essentially. And this is kind of how it felt. It's like, yeah, they rushed 4 at times, but they were playing so far back. It was just easy completions. As soon as the Tyjae Spears or Tony Pollard got past the front 4, they could have just ran for an extra like 20 yards, 15, 20 yards just because of the prevent defense. So like
Yeah.
I I get the Jonathan Taylor part. I think he could have hit the record if he played that entire second half at
Mm.
over 300 rushing yards. Um, but I get it. I just don't understand switching up the defensive style of ball. Like, just play aggressive. Mason Rudolph was making mistakes as it is. Why are you getting him back in rhythm to get him back in the game? Which just didn't make sense. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I was scared
It's
though.
to me, it was same old, same old. It's with Gus Bradley, right? It's like, I agree with you. When will NFL defensive coordinators, head coaches, defensive play callers, defensive schemers, like, when will they understand that going into the prevent defense, you're going to give the other team an opportunity to gain some momentum and to start to let the offense flow better, and then they get their confidence up and then things start happening, right? So it's the NFL, man. You don't want to give other NFL football players, other professional football players, confidence when they're down 38-7. Like,
You're
you
letting
don't
them
want
get
to
into
like
rhythm.
let them feel like they can get back in this game.
Exactly.
And it's just a joke to me, man. Like, obviously the most obvious one that everyone can think of in Colts Nation is when they allowed the Vikings to come back 33-0. It's like,
Granted, Jeff Saturday, but still, it
right.
was Gus. It was Gus
But
Bradley.
but the fact that it's the horseshoe, man. The fact that the horseshoe once again, thank God they didn't, but like, whew, they
This should
really,
have been a
really.
beatdown, dude. This should have been
I
like a
know.
45-7, just
I
or
know.
45-14. I don't care. Just an absolute
The
beatdown.
Titans had no business scoring 30 points in
Yeah.
this football game. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah.
No business, man.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Like, that
And
was absolutely crazy.
it was really funny because basically after the game, my fiance and I had a plan. Like I was gonna go. I'm getting married in July, so I was gonna go ring shopping to find my ring. And it was like the middle of the third quarter. I was like, maybe I can just go shower now and just like play the game through my Bose speaker while I'm showering and just listen to it because this game's basically over. Thank
Yeah.
God I didn't because I was just like maybe I'll leave in like the middle of the fourth quarter, just beat some traffic because the Bears were playing here in Chicago. Thank God
Yeah.
I fucking didn't because that shit I had to watch that. That shit was crazy. It was laughable. I don't understand how you can be Shane Steichen and you're the head coach of the football team. Like, I don't care that this is Gus Bradley's defense. Just be like, Gus, we're not doing this. Stop coming
Yeah.
out and prevent in the
Stop
beginning
playing
of the third quarter.
prevent.
Like,
Or learn, like, when you start playing prevent and they start coming back, they get that touchdown, they get the 2-point conversion. It's like, okay, maybe let's toughen up a little bit again. Maybe let's stiffen up a little bit again and really put our foot on their necks. That's what you
this,
have to do, especially against a
yeah,
divisional opponent. Like, come on, like, Colts know better. You cannot allow a divisional opponent to hang around in a football game. Like,
yeah, no matter the
it's just
record.
known.
And this team, like 3 turnovers. One obviously came with a Hail Mary. Kenny Moore, 2 picks. Samuel Womack, he dropped a pick and then picked it off the very
And
next
then
play. I
picked
was
it up
really
the
happy
next
for him.
play, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
really happy for him.
No, he didn't even drop a pick. He just didn't get his foot in bounds, basically.
Yes, he
He
didn't
caught
drop
it.
it. You're
He
right.
caught it. He just
Yeah.
barely didn't have his foot in bounds. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
first
crazy.
foot. Like first foot was like on the white or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, but they started off like I was kind of scared. Like Calvin Ridley, big ass 40-yard bomb for a touchdown. I was like, ah, here we go again. Same old Gus. They locked it in. Like they locked it in right after
Yeah,
that play. It's like 2
yeah.
turnovers. I think they really could have had like 4 or 5 turnovers if they just didn't play
Mhm.
prevent so early. But the true MVP of the game, I mean, Jonathan Taylor. Come on.
Oh, of
Like you're
course. I mean,
dog,
needed
bro.
it. Needed it.
Dog.
Like, revenge game, legacy game, everything is on the line. His 1,000-yard, right? Another 1,000-yard season
Blew
on the
right
line,
past it.
and
Blew right
just
past it.
blew right past it with 2 games to go.
Yeah.
Gotta say, man, I myself had so many swirling emotions because I was playing in my fantasy championship game
Yeah.
against Jonathan Taylor. I'm just watching this man. I'm like, I love this, but I also am just getting gutted right now.
You're probably
This
happy
man
with the benching, like, he got benched in the beginning of the 3rd or something like that. You're like,
This
"Thank God."
man this man had 50 points. I'm like, "What is going on, dude?" Like, "Oh my lord." But, no, it was amazing to see. It really, really was, and, um, we've been waiting, man. We've been waiting all year, as Colts fans to see Jonathan Taylor, break these long runs, right? People have
Mhm.
been talking about that in the Colts
Started last week
community, and
if
it
he didn't
started
drop it.
last week if he would've just held on to the ball, and,
Yep.
this week he's like, "Hey, Imma hold on
But
to it all the way into the tunnel. No
I
one's taking this
that
ball
was
out of my
hilarious.
hand."
I think there's 2 big contributing factors to that. One, the offensive line actually played really well. Everyone had a really
Yeah.
good grade except for Glowinski. Obviously, like, replacement, you're on, like, your 3rd string right guard, kinda makes sense. But everyone else had a phenomenal game, especially Quinn Nelson and Bernard Ryman. They balled the fuck out on the left side, and Quinn Nelson was, like, behind every single run. Touchdown. Anthony Richardson and the 2 Jonathan Taylor touchdowns. So that was really cool to see.
Do we know about, Q's injury, by the way?
I think he's fine. He
Is he
rolled up
good?
his ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think he just rolled up his ankle.
I didn't follow up on that.
Steichen said today there was, like, no injury updates
Good.
whatsoever. He goes, "We'll see on Jalen Jones' throat injury," by the way, which never was said. Dude, those announcers can we just take a quick 30-second, uh, side take? Those announcers fucking sucked yesterday. Like, who
Yeah.
were
I turned
who
the audio down. I wasn't even, like, really listening to the broadcast audio because it was
awful.
just so awful. I was like, "Okay."
Awful. It
Yeah.
was Anthony Richardson fucking sucks. Tennessee Titans kicker fucking sucks. Like it's like it's just like so weird. I'm just like, you're so weird, dude. Like these announcers, like the Colts always get the worst announcers. But what I wanted to say is another contributing fact to the Colts, to Jonathan Taylor's success is Anthony Richardson, because just
Mhm.
as the running quarterback that he is,
Yeah, the running
defenses are
ability.
just
Mhm.
confused. We just open up holes and gaps along with the O line. And I just want to say, I have this pulled up right now. Franchise record
Yes.
335 rushing yards for the Indianapolis Colts yesterday combined.
That gets a cup clap. Cup clap.
Cup clap. I like that. We should call it that. Cup
Cup
clap from
clap.
here from Logan and Natty. That was just a phenomenal
We could have
performance.
the cup clap awards. Who gets a cup
Yeah.
clap today?
Cup clap of the week. Cup
Yeah.
clap of the week.
That's that's definitely the clap of the week for sure. Yeah,
We're
franchise
definitely doing
record
that.
and rushing yards. That'll get you the Colts
And
the cup clap.
also, quick question: why is Tyler Goodson not getting more snaps at RB2? That dude's just fucking explosive. Like he got like 2 or 3 handoffs, and he was just
Hey,
like 6 yards per carry
I'm all
immediately
for it as long as the ball is not going in his hands on a
in the
passing
air.
play. I'm fine with it. I
That's
don't
fair.
trust that dude to catch a ball to save his life, but
That's
I mean
fair.
he can run it all day long. I'm cool with that.
I will
I'm
say
cool with him running.
I want to trust him as an Iowa alum, and I hope to someday. But I still do think the Colts need to
Yeah.
draft a legitimate like RB2 in the
Yeah.
third, fourth round of
Still
the draft.
Still hurts
But
too much. We can't get over the
yeah, it's still
drops.
it's
Still
still
too fresh.
painful. The most recent one in the end zone too, a couple games ago.
Yeah.
So
It was very eerie how similar it was to the
yeah,
other one.
yeah.
I was gonna ask you too. So we were talking about contributing factors of the win, obviously. Um, what would you grade? Because I know the game plan, obviously, when JT has a career game like that, you're gonna run the football, right? And so by default, you're not gonna pass as much. But where would you grade AR, I guess, if you take away his running ability and you're just looking at the passing game, kinda A through F, where would you place him?
I'd say B minus, and I think it's a fair criticism of him. He had one throw that he had Drew Ogletree right down the seam. They showed in the replay, and he
Yeah,
threw it into double or triple coverage. That was a bad pick, but outside of that, like he bounced back. Obviously you can't knock him for using his legs because that's just the dynamic that he is. But why isn't this the Colts formula? Like, dude only threw the ball
yeah,
11 times, 7 completions, 63% completion percentage, 123 yards passing or something like that, and he got the ball out quick, and he was
yeah.
fairly accurate. He was
So,
genuinely fairly accurate.
I wanted to say that too. I don't wanna criticize AR too much because this one seemed more game plan oriented, right? Like, I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, he only threw 11 passes," but it's like, "Well, yeah, but Jonathan Taylor also was having a career rushing day, and they set the franchise record for rushing yards.
And
So,
that's where the Titans
I
struggle
mean,
is, like, stopping
yeah,
the
it's like
run. So
why force it if you don't need to if you're up already? So, and then to go to that point too, I agree with you. I'd probably put him at like a probably like a B minus as well. Yeah, something around there because the one qualm I had, I texted you about it. I don't know if it's a mental thing because the coaches have probably been harping on him so hard to stop throwing so many bullet passes. But
just know when to.
the one time that he needed to throw a bullet pass there,
Yeah.
on the interception, he just feathered it. Like it's like and you saw when he threw it, it's almost like you could see him take
The
Mayo
air off
off
of
the
it.
ball. He
Yeah.
took it off of it. And I was like, brother, you got the cannon of the gods, man. Just rip that thing through the defender.
I'm telling you, if that
Um,
was week 1, that's a completion, and he might have been
yeah,
gained, like, an additional 2 or 3 yards just because
I
of his
think
fastballs.
I think it was a mental thing. Yeah, he was like, I can't just beam this, but it's like, no, that time you needed to beam it. So
That's
yeah,
the
still some
growth,
of the
right?
decision making for me is the area where obviously coming into the season that was where he needed to grow, and I still think he needs to grow. You know, he hasn't
Yeah.
played a full 16 games yet, so we can't really 16 17 games. So he's still got time. We need more game tape, and he's slowly getting there. And I think he will continue to correct those things. Hopefully,
Yeah. I think it's just a healthy balance of just playing more. You're kind of figure out, hey, when can I release the fastball? And I'm sure his
yeah,
feather balls still feel like fastballs to receivers, but still, like he has that special ability to just hit the,
right.
just be super accurate with that fastball, where it's almost tough for the receivers to even like to
The
catch the
one
ball.
The one I'm reminded or the one that I would say was like an A plus throw, obviously on top of the bomb throw to Pierce to start the year, but it was the same game, that throw where he just absolutely fastball beamed it to
Oh my god,
Ashton
yes,
Doolin. Like
yes,
that's what I'm talking about. If he would have put that heat on that throw,
yeah,
that's a completion, right?
yeah,
I
hundred
mean, like,
percent.
period. So, yeah, that's what I would like to see a couple of those back. But I think overall, it was just a game plan. If you look, it was pretty similar to how the Buffalo Bills won their game against the Patriots this Sunday as well. Josh Allen only had 150 yards. That's the MVP of the National Football League, right? And James Cook, he cooked. James
Yeah,
Cook cooked. Like he was cooking. So it's like, let's keep riding him.
and to be
And
fair,
that's
AR could have had 3 touchdowns. They took one away because of his
yeah,
half an inch short. I still think he was in, but he was half an inch short. Um, but
yeah,
still, he slid when he was running too, which was nice. Like he didn't. There's a time
love
and
that.
place to run people over, and I think he understood when to go out of bounds, and when to slide. I will say though, one thing I was really excited for is Adonai Mitchell. Good bounce back game. You only got the ball one time. That huge catch on 3rd and 6 down
Yeah,
the sideline.
great catch. Yeah,
Great catch. And then as a blocker too, Adonai, like 80, you did a phenomenal job as a blocker. You came, you helped your QB out, you helped your running back out, you helped Josh Downs out.
yeah,
Um, when he had the ball with a couple of blocks, it was just cool to see just receivers blocking, which
yeah.
a lot of
That's
teams wish they had.
That's a great point that I didn't even think about too, is a lot of the guys who had just a bad, like really, really bad games last week, just abysmal games, they really stepped up this week. A lot of guys had revenge games and
And
came to play and showed up to the office. So yeah, definitely shout
yeah,
out to everyone that had a big game that didn't have such a good game last week.
100%. And with EJ Speed out with his knee injury, Jalen Carlisle, I mean, dude's a fucking baller,
Oh,
bro.
Carlisle, yeah. I
Carlisle's
think it's Carlisle, yeah.
Carlisle's, yeah. He only
Yeah, I heard
allowed
it on the
19
radio today.
only allowed 19 receiving yards, and he is so good in pass coverage, and he had like 10 plus tackles. He is the future. This is the 5th round draft
I
pick. Like
think I think that's our. I mentioned
stud.
a couple episodes ago. I mentioned it. I would roll with him because EJ
Please.
Speed's in a contract year, man. Like, and changes have to be made anyways, right? Like, especially if they don't make the playoffs. So
Is he gonna
yeah.
replace EJ Speed in the trenches show? Jalen
Oh no.
Nealon,
Oh
remember?
no. They'll just have to go virtual, man. They'll have
They
to
might
go
have to go
virtual.
virtual, which is gonna be it's tough to see because like me and you obviously don't live in the same city, so
Yeah.
everything's virtual. But then you have like Pat McAfee show with like the only person virtual is AJ Hawk, and it just
Yeah.
gives like a weird dynamic to me because he just like doesn't fucking talk as it is.
He's not actually there. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna be like 3 of them on the trenches show and then EJ like on the on like the
Yeah.
fucking
Good
projector.
point.
That'd be kinda weird look, but he balled out. Jalen balled out, man. I'm excited to see his growth. as he continues to play. And then Latu, I know he didn't show on film. This guy has only played like 50% of the Colts snaps, and he is accounting for so much pressure on the defensive line. And I almost forgot talking about defensive line, DeForest Buckner. Oh my
How
god,
can we forget, man? Like,
what a game!
probably, I mean, next to Jalen Jones for me, I mean, how do you not give D-Buck the defensive MVP this year for the Colts? I mean, he's just
Cold injury,
when he's been in, just an absolute monster. I mean,
wrecking
just
ball.
just causing havoc in the
You
trenches
see, like
every
Mason
single
Rudolph
play.
had like a wide open post to Chig Okonkwo, and DeForest Buckner just single handedly just disabled that from happening. Essentially,
There was one play where he fought through a double team and got his big ass hands on on Rudolph's jersey
yep,
and literally basically grabbed him and pulled him down. I was like,
yes,
"Oh my gosh, I'm
yes.
forced an incompletion."
I love
That's
the Hail
crazy.
Mary at the end too. They just sent, even though I don't agree with this, they just sent DeForest Buckner, and he just kind of stood there for a little bit, and then he just bull rush and almost got to Mason Rudolph with
He
like five
almost
people
still
guarding him.
yeah. What a beast, man.
What a
He's
beast!
one of those guys where he deserves better. He
Yeah,
deserves to be on a competing
but stay
playoff team
here, please.
every year. I want him to stay here, but, like, guys, let's get
He deserves,
better. Let's get better for
he
D-Buck.
deserves a ring.
Let's get
He
better
deserves
for
a ring.
Kenny Moore. Let's get better
100%.
for Zaire Franklin. Like, these guys that are, like, pouring their hearts and souls every
And
single week.
100%. And Logan, I know we're gonna call it soon, but I just want to say real quick, if you're listening, I picked the Colts to win. Logan picked the Titans to win. So if you want to
I
leave
did.
any hate comments, I will attach all of Logan's socials to the YouTube video, and I'll attach his
Hey,
TikTok.
if anything, Addy, I feel like me picking the Titans to win, it probably was some reverse psychology and it just worked in the Colts' favor. So if
Now
I
we're gonna
gotta
lose to
pick
the Giants, right?
the opposing team every week for this team to just win out, then I will.
We're gonna lose to the Giants. I just know it's gonna happen. But
No.
that's a topic for
Yes.
Thursday. We're not gonna talk
Yeah,
about
we'll get
today,
into
but
that on Thursday. Real quick, guys, as well, just wanted to say for all those who celebrate, Merry Christmas, of course,
yes.
and Happy Holidays as well. And I hope all of you enjoy your time with your family. And I'm glad that you're a part of our Colts family. And if you're not yet,
Yes.
again, make sure you click that subscribe button so you can be part of the Colts
Unplugged.
unplugged, unplugged family. Just like so many have so far, so we're so thankful for you guys.
That's my only
Appreciate every one
Christmas
of you.
wish, Colts fans. Just
Just
like,
subscribe.
subscribe, join
Yeah.
us like on this journey. We're really excited what we have going and what we're growing, and the people that we've connected with through TikTok and Twitter and
And
Instagram, like you
YouTube.
name it, YouTube.
Yep.
Yes. So we appreciate all the support. Merry Christmas to you guys and your families if you celebrate, and we'll catch you all on Thursday as we
Go
cover
Colts.
the New York Giants. Go Colts.